Boulder, Colorado, where mountains meet eccentricity. Welcome to Boulder, Colorado, a place where the majestic Flatirons stand guard over a city that defies easy categorization. Nestled against the Rocky Mountains at 5,430 feet above sea level, Boulder isn't just another mountain town. It's a character in its own right, with stories etched into every hiking trail and historic brick building on Pearl Street. The year was 1858 when gold seekers first settled here, though they quickly discovered something more valuable than gold, a landscape of unparalleled beauty and opportunity. Subscribe now to Town Tales for more fascinating city stories just like this one. Hit that like button and share with friends who appreciate unique American communities. Your support helps us showcase incredible places like Boulder and keeps these local histories alive. But it's not just Boulder's stunning natural setting that makes it special. It's the blend of the profound and the peculiar that gives this city its distinctive character. Take, for instance, the day a black bear wandered onto the University of Colorado campus and decided the most logical course of action was to climb a tree and take a nap. Students gathered below, snapping photos of what looked remarkably like an exhausted freshman after finals week. Campus security was less amused, but the sleeping bear of CU became an instant local legend, complete with t-shirts and a social media following. For weeks afterward, students would point to that tree and whisper, "That's where the bear had better study habits than me." Boulder's relationship with nature is both reverent and comically challenging. The city prides itself on environmental consciousness. It was among the first in America to implement a plastic bag tax. The decision wasn't without drama, though. Old-timers still chuckle about hearing indignant cries of "Give me back my plastic bags," echoing through the canyons on implementation day. One particularly vocal citizen reportedly arrived at a city council meeting with a homemade suit constructed entirely of plastic bags, declaring himself the ghost of shopping past. The council was not swayed, but his photograph did make the front page of the Daily Camera. The mountains surrounding Boulder don't just provide a spectacular backdrop, they shape the city's soul. Chautauqua Park, established in 1898, serves as the gateway to miles of trails and has its own supernatural resident, the Ghost Runner. According to local lore, this spectral jogger appears on foggy evenings, decked out in 1980s running shorts, shouting "Namaste" before disappearing into the mist. Scientists might blame the altitude-induced oxygen deprivation for such sightings, but Boulderites prefer their mystical explanation. One longtime resident insists she once matched pace with the Phantom for nearly a mile before he vanished, leaving behind only the faint scent of natural deodorant and kombucha. Perhaps the city's embrace of the unconventional explains why, in 1979, a city council member formally proposed making Boulder an alien-friendly city. While the proposal raised eyebrows nationally, locals merely shrugged. Some joke that the extraterrestrials took the invitation seriously and opened several of Boulder's more experimental vegan food trucks. The Cosmic Kale truck, with its suspiciously advanced blender technology and staff who never seem to blink simultaneously, remains particularly suspect. Pearl Street Mall, the heart of downtown since its pedestrianization in 1977, embodies Boulder's blend of academic intellectualism and hippie sensibilities. On any given day, you might find a physics professor playing chess with a barefoot street performer, while startup entrepreneurs discuss venture capital over kombucha at an outdoor cafe. The mall's brick-paved expanse has hosted everything from poetry slams to silent meditation flash mobs. The Zip Code Man, who can tell you detailed facts about any U.S. postal code you shout at him, has been a fixture for decades, as has the Bubble Guy, whose elaborate soap bubble constructions have delighted generations of children and confounded squirrels. Boulder's academic credentials are impressive by any measure. With the highest concentration of PhDs per capita in America, intellectual firepower is a natural resource as common as sunshine, of which Boulder boasts over 300 days annually. The University of Colorado, established in 1876, anchors this intellectual ecosystem, though locals will tell you that even the barista making your pour-over likely has a master's degree in something surprising. One coffee shop famously posted a sign reading, All our baristas have advanced degrees. Please don't ask them why they're not using them. They're tired of explaining the academic job market. The weather here operates with dramatic flair. Longtime residents carry sunscreen and snow gear year-round, understanding that 70-degree sunshine can transform into driving snow within hours. One local politician allegedly attempted to ban October snowfall through municipal ordinance, an ambitious but ultimately unsuccessful effort that earned him the nickname Counselor Climate Control. Meteorologists from around the world study Boulder's unique weather patterns created by the interaction between mountain geography and atmospheric systems. Locals just shrug and say, "If you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes," a phrase repeated so often it should be on the city seal. Sports hold a special place in Boulder's identity, particularly the University of Colorado Buffaloes. Their football games at Folsom Field feature one of college sports' most distinctive traditions, Ralphie's Run. Ralphie, a live buffalo mascot weighing over 1,000 pounds, thunders across the field before kickoff, guided by a team of student handlers sprinting at top speed. It's equal parts terrifying and exhilarating, a perfect metaphor for life in Boulder. The highly coveted position of Ralphie Handler is more prestigious than many campus leadership roles, with alumni handlers still listing the experience on resumes decades later. As one former handler put it, after you've steered a buffalo through a stadium of 50,000 screaming fans, corporate crisis management seems pretty straightforward. For a city so focused on wellness and mindfulness, Boulder has a surprisingly passionate sports culture. The rallying cry of Eskeo Buffs, a shorthand for "Let's go Buffaloes," can be heard echoing through the canyons on game days, delivered with an intensity that belies the city's peaceful reputation. The age-old rivalry with Colorado State University has sparked pranks ranging from harmless, painting the CSU campus buffer zone black and gold, to elaborate, somehow managing to project the CU logo onto the clouds above Fort Collins using experimental laser technology from the physics department. The bicycle culture here borders on religious devotion. With more bikes than cars per square mile, Boulder's extensive network of bike paths and lanes makes two-wheeled transportation not just possible but preferable. First-time visitors are often startled by the sight of suited professionals and senior citizens alike pedaling up significant inclines, seemingly untroubled by the effort. Bike theft is considered a particularly heinous crime, with community bulletin boards occasionally featuring poetic pleas for the return of beloved bicycles. To whoever took my blue trek from outside Alfalfa's, one memorable posting read, "It carried me through my divorce, my cancer treatment, and my PhD defense. The lock was worth more than the bike. Please return it to where our journeys together may continue." Boulder Creek cuts through the heart of the city, serving as both recreational hub and informal community center. During summer months, tubing down the creek becomes a citywide pastime, with everyone from college students to corporate executives floating lazily downstream. The annual Creek Festival transforms the waterway's banks into a celebration featuring everything from rubber duck races to what locals jokingly call vegan karaoke, though no one seems quite sure what makes karaoke vegan. Perhaps it's the prohibition on songs about meat? In winter, hardy souls participate in the polar plunge, diving into the frigid waters for reasons that range from tradition to charity fundraising to simple Boulder bravado. Housing costs in Boulder have reached almost mythological proportions. Locals joke that you either need to practice yoga with tech billionaires or be willing to rent a sofa with a partial view of Whole Foods for exorbitant sums. This reality has created a surrounding ring of more affordable communities, connected to Boulder by an impressive public transportation system and bicycle corridors. Real estate listings have developed their own euphemistic language. Cozy means you can touch both walls simultaneously. Historic charm translates to no updates since 1973, and mountain views often means if you stand on the toilet and use binoculars. Yet despite these costs, waiting lists for housing remain long, testament to Boulder's enduring appeal. The city's food scene reflects its educated, health-conscious population. Farm to table isn't just a trend here, it's practically mandatory. Restaurants proudly list not just where their ingredients come from, but often the names of the farmers who grew them. Yet Boulder isn't without culinary contradictions. The same person who meticulously sources organic produce might be spotted devouring a massive burger at the Dark Horse, a beloved dive bar decorated with an eclectic collection of antiques and oddities. Frasca Food and Wine has garnered national accolades and a James Beard Award, while food trucks dispensing artisanal grilled cheese sandwiches command long lines at brewery gatherings. Boulder's commitment to local agriculture extends to residential areas, where backyard chicken coops have become commonplace following a successful campaign to legalize urban poultry. The city council debate on chicken regulations reportedly included impassioned speeches about egg sovereignty and the constitutional rights of hens. Now, upscale neighborhoods feature designer chicken habitats alongside luxury patio furniture. One particularly dedicated resident built a scale model of Frank Lloyd Wright's Fallingwater for his Rhode Island Reds, complete with cantilevered roosting areas and minimalist feeding stations. The chickens were reportedly underwhelmed. Spirituality in Boulder takes many forms. The city has more crystal shops and metaphysical bookstores than clothing retailers, reflecting a population equally comfortable discussing chakra alignment and climate science. One local business owner claims her crystal shop sits on a vortex of positive energy, though skeptics note it also sits conveniently close to the best coffee shop in town. Naropa University, founded by Tibetan Buddhist Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche in 1974, established Boulder as a center for contemplative education and mindfulness practices long before such concepts entered the mainstream. Today, meditation groups meet in settings ranging from traditional Buddhist centers to brewery taprooms, where Mindful Monday sessions combine contemplation with craft beer sampling. The cultural juxtapositions in Boulder create moments of unintentional comedy. A tech millionaire might park his Tesla next to a vintage VW bus plastered with peace signs. A world-renowned quantum physicist might regularly attend drum circles. And local government meetings occasionally feature more discussion about trail maintenance than critical infrastructure. One memorable city council session devoted 3 hours to debating the appropriate width of a particular bike lane, only to table a decision on the municipal budget due to time constraints. The local newspaper's headline the next day simply read, "Priorities." Even local gossip has a distinctly Boulder flavor. Neighborhood social media groups buzz with reports of bear sightings, heated debates about trail etiquette, and the occasional scandal about improperly sorted recycling. One particularly memorable community dispute involved a raccoon that crashed a wedding reception and was photographed absconding with a piece of cake, becoming an inadvertent internet celebrity. Cake Bandit, as the raccoon was dubbed, inspired fan art, t-shirts, and even a children's book about wedding etiquette for woodland creatures. Boulder's police blotter makes for entertaining reading. Officers have been called to mediate disputes between yoga classes over excessive OMING, rescue rock climbers stuck in compromising positions, and investigate reports of suspicious meditation in public parks. One memorable report involved an officer responding to complaints about late-night noise, only to discover an impromptu silent disco where participants wore headphones playing synchronized music while dancing quietly under the stars. The officer, according to witnesses, eventually borrowed a pair of headphones and demonstrated some impressive moves before reminding participants about the park's closing time. The city's commitment to environmental sustainability manifests in sometimes extreme ways. Boulder was an early adopter of curbside composting, though the learning curve was steep. Early composting bins proved irresistible to local wildlife, leading to what old-timers refer to as the Great Bear Buffet of 2010, when an unusually large number of black bears descended on neighborhoods to sample the organic offerings. The city responded with improved bear-resistant containers, though particularly determined Bruins still occasionally figure out the complicated latching mechanisms, leading residents to joke about sending Boulder bears to MIT on scholarship. Despite, or perhaps because of, these eccentricities, Boulder consistently ranks among America's most livable cities. The combination of natural beauty, educational opportunities, recreational access, and community-minded governance creates an environment where people genuinely care about their city's future. This manifests in passionate civic engagement, with town hall meetings frequently lasting well into the night as residents debate everything from bike lane width to the appropriate height of new buildings. The height restriction that preserves mountain views is particularly sacred. Woe betide the developer who suggests exceeding it by even a few feet. The entrepreneurial spirit thrives here, with Boulder boasting one of the highest startup densities in the nation. The mix of university resources, venture capital accessibility, and quality of life attracts founders who want to build companies without sacrificing mountain access. Local success stories like Celestial Seasonings Tea Company, founded in 1969, share the business ecosystem with cutting-edge aerospace, biotech, and renewable energy ventures. The juxtaposition creates unique networking opportunities. It's not uncommon for deals to be struck on hiking trails or during midweek ski outings rather than in boardrooms. Boulder's history as a counterculture haven during the 1960s and 70s has left an indelible mark on its character. While the stereotypical hippie population has aged or been priced out, their influence persists in the city's values and institutions. The Boulder Shambhala Center, numerous community gardens, food co-ops, and the thriving farmers market all trace their lineage to this era. Modern-day Boulder might be more affluent and tech-focused, but remnants of its bohemian past surface in unexpected ways, like the annual Tube to Work Day, where committed commuters don business attire and float down Boulder Creek to their downtown offices. The art scene punches above its weight for a city of just over 100,000 residents. The Colorado Shakespeare Festival, established in 1958, is the second oldest Shakespeare festival in the country and performs in the historic Mary Rapon Outdoor Theater on the university campus. The Boulder Philharmonic Orchestra, Boulder Museum of Contemporary Art, and numerous galleries showcase both established and emerging talents. Street performers on Pearl Street provide a more accessible form of entertainment, with performers ranging from classical violinists to the infamous Zip Code Man, who can recite detailed information about any U.S. postal code shouted at him, a human database in suspenders, and a bow tie. When visitors ask locals what makes Boulder special, they often receive philosophical responses about alignment of purpose or conscious community. Press further, and you'll hear stories about neighbors helping each other during wildfire evacuations, strangers returning lost wallets with cash intact, and community members rallying around local businesses during economic downturns. During the devastating floods of 2013, residents formed impromptu bucket brigades, opened their homes to displaced neighbors, and coordinated relief efforts through social media before official channels were established. That spirit of mutual aid, residents will tell you, defines Boulder more accurately than any stereotype about granola or Patagonia jackets. The city's relationship with neighboring Denver, just 30 miles away, is complicated. Boulderites simultaneously depend on Denver's international airport and major league sports teams while maintaining a sense of superiority about their mountain paradise. The gentle rivalry surfaces in comments like, "Denver doesn't even have a decent view," ignoring Denver's own spectacular mountain panorama. Denverites, meanwhile, roll their eyes at Boulder's self-satisfaction while secretly envying its quality of life. The relationship was perfectly captured by a local comedian who described it as two siblings who pretend not to be related in public, but would defend each other in a fight. As the sun sets behind the Flatirons, casting long shadows across the valley, Boulder transforms. University Hill fills with students, Pearl Street with diners and theatergoers, and the mountain trails with determined headlamp-wearing athletes squeezing in one more climb or run. The diversity of simultaneous activities in a relatively small geographic area creates a vibrant energy that visitors immediately notice. Look closely at that grizzled mountain biker in his 60s, and you might discover he's a Nobel laureate. That woman leading a group meditation in the park? CEO of a biotech startup. The barista with the elaborate tattoos? Published poet with a following in Europe. Boulder's outdoor recreation opportunities define daily life for many residents. With over 45,000 acres of open space and 155 miles of trails, nature is always minutes away. The proximity of world-class climbing, hiking, mountain biking, and winter sports creates a population obsessed with weather forecasts and trail conditions. Conversations about recent adventures serve as social currency, with subtle one-upmanship about mileage covered or vertical feet climbed. Yet this competition remains good-natured. It's less about proving superiority than sharing joy. As one bumper sticker seen around town proclaims, My worst day outside is better than my best day in the office. The city's educational institutions extend beyond the university. Boulder Valley School District consistently ranks among the nation's best public school systems, attracting families willing to pay premium housing costs for access to its schools. Casey Middle School's innovative architecture features solar panels, gardens, and a design that maximizes natural light, reflecting Boulder's values in brick and mortar. Private educational options range from Waldorf and Montessori approaches to specialized institutions focusing on everything from aerospace to sustainable agriculture. Boulder's cultural diversity, while improving, remains a work in progress. The city's high cost of living has created economic barriers that affect its demographic makeup. Community leaders have implemented programs to address affordability challenges and make Boulder accessible to a broader population. These efforts reflect the progressive values that characterize local politics, where environmental protection, social justice, and economic sustainability form the core of policy discussions. The tension between growth and preservation creates passionate debate, but rarely descends into acrimony. Boulderites generally agree on fundamental values while arguing about implementation. Through economic booms and busts, population changes, and ecological challenges, including devastating wildfires, Boulder has maintained its essential character. It remains a place of contradictions, environmentally conscious yet consumption-oriented, spiritually seeking yet scientifically rigorous, fiercely local yet globally connected. This balance of opposites creates the distinctive energy that makes Boulder more than just another attractive college town in a scenic setting. Whether you're watching a summer thunderstorm roll over the mountains, participating in the costume-heavy polar plunge, where brave souls swim in the freezing reservoir in winter, or simply enjoying coffee while watching the parade of humanity along Pearl Street, Boulder offers experiences that embed themselves in memory. There's something unmistakably alive about this place, a vitality born from the collision of natural grandeur and human creativity. Perhaps that's why so many visitors become residents, despite the cost and occasional culture shock. There's something magnetic about a place where intellectual rigor meets spiritual seeking, where athletic achievement coexists with meditation practice, and where community values shape daily life. Former residents who move away often speak of Boulder withdrawal, missing not just the landscape, but the distinctive rhythms of life here. As we conclude our journey through this remarkable mountain city, we're reminded that places like Boulder, Colorado don't happen by accident. They're created through intentional choices, passionate advocacy, and a shared vision of what community can mean. Whether you find Boulder's quirks charming or challenging likely says as much about you as it does about the city itself. For those who call Boulder home, these peculiarities aren't bugs. They're features, the very reasons they choose to stay despite cheaper housing elsewhere. For as one longtime resident put it, where else can you discuss string theory with a world expert while watching a bear raid your compost bin, all with a view that would make a landscape painter weep? If you've enjoyed this journey through Boulder, Colorado, don't forget to explore our other birthday cities videos here on Town Tales. From quaint New England villages to bustling southwestern metropolises, each place has stories waiting to be discovered. America's cities are living history books, and we're turning their pages together, one town at a time. Until our next urban adventure, remember that every city, like Boulder, has its own rhythm and soul. You just need to listen closely enough to hear it.